Hey, alright, here we go. So we're doing an M15 draft. Looking at what we're going to first pick here, Inferno Fist is not bad. Welkin Turn is pretty good, so is Fester Gloom and Charging Rhino and Wall of Mulch, but I think I'm going to go with the Colonian Twin Grove here. Hope that we can get into heavy green. Alright, so there's Ingarrick's Wig, not picking that one up. Encrust isn't pretty good. Cursed Spirit's not bad either. I like Caustic Tar. Doesn't really go great into a heavy green deck necessarily, but it could. On the other hand, Rune Claw Bear could. Verdant Haven could. Colonian Twin Grove might be good in a green with blue, but that's not really that great. So I might take the Caustic Tar and just plan on having that. Or I guess if I'm black, Crested Spirit might be better. Caustic Tar is an interesting card. I think it's really powerful, and it's just good if you're aggressive, and it's good if you're defensive, but it's just not very good against aggro decks. So I don't know that I want to take it this early. So I might just take Encrust because it's a removal spell. You know, we don't have to be green. We can abandon our first pick. And I don't think any of the other cards in this pack are really worth going in on. So I think I'm going to take this Encrust. We'll see what happens. Alright, so there's a Paragon of Open Graves, which is pretty powerful but pretty slow. Divination. Rot Feaster Maggot's real good. I like Netcaster Spider a lot, though, and that goes with our Twin Grove. Yeah, this pack's pretty good. I mean, Divination, Rough Rider, these cards are all totally fine, but I think Netcaster Spider is just really important, and I'm glad to pick one up here. Yeah. Okay, so there's a Boomweaver Giant, probably not going to take that. Wall of Limbs, that either, or this. Typhoid Rats is pretty decent. Crippling Blight if I want to be an aggressive deck. Yeah, if I'm looking to be aggressive, Hammerhand is pretty good. I think I'm just gonna go with Typhoid Rats. Well, I guess there's a Marked by Honor, and then the last two packs had Marked by Honor, so if I take the Boomweaver Giant, I'm almost guaranteed to wheel one. And then white looks a little open, so I think I'm actually just gonna go with the Boomweaver Giant and see where that takes us. Alright, so here's a Kirkash. Card's not really that great, and Soul Artifact if I wanted to do that, which I don't, sorry. This is an okay 2-drop. Mind Rot's alright. This is a bad 6-drop, and then there's Verdant Haven again. It's kind of, you know, not very good with the Twin Grove. It's green, but it doesn't, it's not exactly, because it doesn't count as a, yeah. I don't think red looks very open. Kirkash is fine, but it's not that great. On the other hand, I do think white might be, so I'm going to take the Swift Claw. I mean, it's just a 2-drop. Yeah, there's another 2-drop in white, so it looks like white-green might be where we're going. This is a pretty late Welkin Turn, on the other hand, though, so we do have this Encrust. Definitely don't want to be Boomweaver Gianting the Encrust, though. There's a Scrapyard Mongrel, which is pretty good. This guy's alright. This guy's is okay. Kinsbale Skirmisher is okay. Titanic Growth, obviously, quite good, but not necessarily something you really need. I think I want to take Welkin Turn here, and then we'll see if blue ends up being open. So it looks like black is really open. These cards are all quite good. I think Bloodhost is the best one. They're all kind of black heavy. Endless Obedience is pretty good, but Bloodhost I think is a little bit better. Hot Soup's pretty decent, especially in greens. You get these huge creatures. Although I guess if I'm black-green, I'm probably going to end up wanting to be playing an Endless Obedience deck, but I think Bloodhost is just a more conservative pick. I know I could take Midnight Guard, which is totally fine creature in this format, and then just let the person on my left be black, which I think I'm going to do. White seems decently open, and there's a Sungrace Pegasus pretty late, so I think green-white looks pretty good for us. Invasive Species isn't bad, but I think in Sungrace's Pegasus is a little bit better. Maybe that's not true. Alright, and these are pretty good late stuff to get. I like Wall of Mulch, Charging Rhino, and Ranger's Guile. Out of the three, I think I'm going to take Wall of Mulch, because I think there might be another Charging Rhino coming at some point. Alright, let's make this a bit bigger. So, don't think I'm going to be playing these. Looking at either Rune Claw Bear or Verdant Haven here. So you have this, we have this 2-drop, we have this 2-drop, this 2-drop. 2-drops are good with Convoke, and Verdant Haven, on the other hand, just ramps to other stuff, which I think is something that I want to do. So I'm going to take the Verdant Haven. And yeah, like I said, I thought we might get a late Charging Rhino. None of these cards, I think. I mean, this card's quite good, but I definitely want to have a Charging Rhino. And I'll take this Crippling Blight because I don't want people to play it against me. Yeah, we didn't get any of those marked by honors back, which is awkward. We might be cut off in white in the second pack. So we'll have to see how that goes. Oh, hey, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I used the new client when, it was in beta, but it's been a while since I played a lot of Magic Online, so yeah, neither of these cards are playable, so nice. Yeah, oh wow, that's a pretty nice last pick. Alright, sweet. So, green-white looking alright. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to see from the left in the next pack. And normally when you're drafting green-white, you're like, you got green-white Convoke, but really we don't really have a lot of Convoke going on right now. But hopefully we can pick some of that up in the next pack. This Galonian Twin Grove is looking pretty decent, since we do have a little bit more green than white. We've got some decent 2-drops, mostly defensive. The deck's kind of taking on a put up some shields and then play big guys like this, but this isn't really going to be worth playing unless I get a Marked by Honor or a Spectral Ward. Or maybe at least a Divine Favor. So maybe I should have taken the Marked by Honor and then maybe this guy would wheel, but I feel like Marked by Honors aren't that difficult to get. So yeah, I mean, I think Twin Grove's pretty decent. Alright, so here's another Boonweaver Giant. Here's Obnixilis, which is a really, really good card, but jeez, I don't think we can be black, even though black did seem kind of open. We could, forsake white for black at this point, but there's, after all the black that we sent to the left, there's no way we're getting in the back. There's a Lightning Strike is really good, which we could play, or we could splash. Oh, wow, and Stoke the Flames, so just, like, straight up really good. I don't know, I mean, there's really not a ton of our colors. Boonweaver Giant again, and, we could maybe do kind of a Boonweaver Giant theme deck if we wanted. But we don't really seem to have the tools. And I'm not really sure exactly how good green-red is, though. So I think I'm just going to do the safe play and not take a red card. But in that case, I think I am better off with one of the, I don't think this card's that great in this format. I don't have a lot of good things to return. So maybe another Verdant Haven, but that doesn't really, I mean, the second one's pretty poor. I mean, these 2-drops aren't really very good either. So maybe this guy's just what I want, just, some power on turn 4. But I think I'm just going to take this. I think we might go for it. We'll get something good. I have faith. All right, so some good stuff here. Charging Rhino, Hunt the Week's pretty good, especially when green-white don't have a ton of removal. These are some good cards over here, but I'm not going to play them. Barnstable's decent. I like Razorfoot Griffin, but I don't think I need to fight that hard to get it. I like Sado Wayfinder a lot, actually, so it's between these two. But I think I'm going to take the Hunt the Week. And this card's fine, this card's fine. Sanctified Charge is pretty good. And it certainly goes with the type of deck that I want to have, and there's a pretty good black card. So maybe black was more open than I thought. Would have been nice if I took the Obnixilis. I mean I still take this, and then we'll see. It'll be sad because, the last 2 packs had really good black cards, but I think that this is a big enough signal that never mind. I'm just waffling back and forth here. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's white. White is open. Green is open. I think we're fine. Spirit Bonds is a very, very powerful card. I think I'm going to take that. Move this to the sideboard. I mean, if Obnixilis wheels, we'll see. But otherwise, I think white-green is a pretty good spot to be right now. Really looking to pick up some Convoke cards. Well, there's one. Another this guy, another this guy. I mean, those cards are fine, but I don't want too many of them. And I think Gather Courage is a really interesting, unique effect to have. The 0 mana, potentially. Combat Trick. Alright, some red cards. Here's another Hunt the Week. So maybe that Sado Wayfinder would have been a better pick earlier. Don't really want this. Midnight Guard's fine. I already have one and a Netcaster Spider. On the other hand, how good is 2 Hunt the Weeks? Probably pretty bad. So I guess I'll just take a Midnight Guard. Fill out my 3-drop slot. Midnight Guard's pretty good with Convoke. I mean, 2/3s are pretty decent in this format. They trade with Borderland Marauders and the 3-mana, Goblin Mountaineer or whatever. They block 2 power creatures pretty well. They trade with Swift Claws. Alright, so we've got an Undergrowth Scavenger, we've got a Plummet, Missionaries, Back to Nature, Sliver Hive. I don't really like any of these cards. Undergrowth Scavenger is fine, but if I'm not actually doing anything with the graveyard, it doesn't really seem that great. There was a Satyr Wayfinder, but I don't know that it's going to wheel. Tireless Mercenaries does not seem good. I already have 2 Midnight Guards. Plummet seems pretty good. As at least a sideboard card, if we don't have to, you know, if I can avoid putting it in my main deck, I will, but then we can put it in the sideboard. And I think it's a better sideboard card than Back to Nature. But we do have Netcaster Spider, so I think I'll take the Undergrowth Scavenger. Well, yeah, I'll take the Undergrowth Scavenger, and at least it'll be pretty good late game. Oh, and there's a Constricting Sliver. Here's Titanic Growth. You know, these cards are fine. I think Constricting Sliver is a pretty easy pick here, which makes that Sliver Hive a little better. Alright, so the question is, do we want the Verdant Haven or the Swift Claw? We already have one of each. How much are we wanting to play 2-drops, and how much are we wanting to ramp up to our big spells? And I think the Swift Claw gets the edge here because we have the Spirit Bonds, and then if we can get some Convoke spells, they'll be basically the same. So it's between Bronze Sable and Charging Rhino. We already have a Charging Rhino. And we don't have a Bronze Sable, and it's nice because you can block the Intimidators. But we do have a bunch of 1 power or 1 toughness 2-drops already, so I think that I'd rather just have another 5-drop. And here's a 2-drop. Probably better than the Swift Claw. Just a 2/2 is like a nice little body in this format. And then I don't think Vine Whiff is playable. And take that card. And maybe I can sideboard in the Staff of the Wild Mages. So this draft's looking alright. It's kind of an interesting green-white deck that has its only Convoke card is Gather Courage. You know, some Triplicate Spirits, a Feral Incarnation, you know, Siege Worm would just make this deck a lot better. That Satyr Wayfinder would have been pretty good to pick up instead of the Hunt the Week because, you know, the other one came and I didn't really need the second. Deck's alright so far. Doesn't really have anything special going for it. I can't believe that I didn't get any of those 3 Marked by Honors back. These Boomweaver Giants are making me look really silly. And I think Black Rain would have been a much better way to go this draft. And I don't like to have 2 Titanic Growths. And a Gather Courage. Like, I'd rather play the first one over the first one of these. So I might have, you know, 1 of each, but I don't think I'm going to play 3 Combat Tricks. Alright, here's Life Legacy, and here's a Siege Worm. Sanctified Charge, Ephemeral Shields. Now we're talking. I really do need Sanctified Charge, and I think one came earlier, but I wasn't able to pick it up for some reason. And I think that Siege Worm is a little bit more important in this deck. Life's Legacy I think is fine, but I don't think people value it that highly, and I might, you know, wheel it. Just, you know, just Life Legacy does draw 4 cards for 2. It's kind of a plus, you know, it's a 3 for 1 or whatever it is, a 4 for 2. You can do some crazy stuff with it. That's a sideboard card. I like this, I like this. Hopefully one of these 3 cards wheels, and at least Bronze Sable. But I'm going to definitely take the Siege Worm here. Alright, so first response is okay. Nissa's Expedition. Here's another Siege Worm, which is really good. And Raise the Alarm. Wow, so this is a pretty good pack for me. I think I want to take Siege Worm. I don't think Raise the Alarm is going to come back. Evolving Wilds might, you know, there's still a lot of good red cards. You know, Goblin Kaboomist is a pretty... I mean, I might want to splash that off this Evolving Wilds. I'm not really sure. I don't think First Response is that good, but I've seen it do some work. This is definitely a deck for it. And I do like Raise the Alarm, but I'm just going to take another Siege Worm here. Alright, so... bunch of great cards. Oh, wow, Sunblade Elf. Wow, that's incredible. I'm really... okay, so this draft is going a lot better. I like Phyrexian Revoker. I like Ajani's Pridemate quite a bit. I like Satyr Wayfinder. These guys are fine. Well, not this guy. Here's another Evolving Wilds, but man, Sunblade Elf is really good. And a Curd Chieftain. So I'm not exactly like in the perfect spot to splash a Curd Chieftain, but there were 2 Evolving Wilds that might come back, and the card is incredibly powerful. I don't really have any other fixing for red, but I mean I could take Elvish Mystic, which is actually pretty good, but I already have. Well, I don't exactly have playables, but I think that the Curd Chieftain is worth the risk right now. Here's a Heliod's Pilgrim, which is useless. Yeah, Selfless Cathar also pretty good there. Alright, so Razorfoot Griffin, Sungrace Pegasus, Gargoyle Sentinel's pretty decent, and another Hunt the Week that I don't think I want. So I think out of these I'm going to take the Razorfoot Griffin, just because First Strike I think is really good in this format. And here's an Obelisk Avert, so how good is that? Let's see, Cat Warrior, Pegasus, Bear, Elf Warrior, Human Soldier, Fungus Horror, Griffin, Ape, Rhino, Tree Folk. No, Obelisk Avert is not what I want to be doing. Here's a Marked by Honor. It's not that great, but just to be, you know, it turns on my Boomweaver Giants, and I think that's pretty powerful. I guess it doesn't really turn both of them on, but, you know. And here's another Mark by Honor, but here's a Meteorite. So this is actually pretty tough, because I'd love to have 2 Mark by Honors and 2 Boomweaver Giants. But I think this Meteorite being able to fix my red for this Kurd Chieftain is a little bit more important. So I think I'm going to go with that. And, you know, here's a Tyrant's Machine, here's a Naturalize. I don't think I need another Charging Rhino, so I'm going to take the Naturalize for the sideboard. And the Life's Legacy came back. That's it. Wow, alright. Well, I guess I'll take the Life's Legacy. I think the card's actually playable. Definitely better than a lot of people give it credit for. And I think I might play 1 Boomweaver Giant with that Marked by Honor. Alright, so I think I'll take Soulmender. Oh, actually, I think I'll take Nissa's Expedition. I don't have that many Verdant Havens, but Nissa's Expedition is a 2-for-1. And, you know, I think that it's pretty decent. I mean, it's not that great as a 2-for-1 because lands are pretty bad late in the game, but it does thin your deck a little, which doesn't really do that much. I like that it really gets you up to your, you know, it's kind of like a token spell if you're just going Convoke. It gets you to Siege Worm really quick. Yeah, so sideboard cards. I think my deck's pretty decent against aggro already, so I'll take the Plummet over the Tireless Missionaries, which I think is just pretty bad. Yeah, wow, so the same 2 cards. Black was just real open. I think I will take this Endless Obedience because I don't want people reanimating my own Siege Worms. Sign in Blood and Eternal Thirst. Alright, so this looks pretty good, actually. The deck wasn't looking great after Pack 1, but I've got a lot of power now that I didn't have before. And a pretty decent curve, too. Don't think I'm going to be playing this. I don't know about Marked by Honor and Boomweaver Giant. Don't know about Constricting Sliver. But this is looking pretty good, I think, actually. You know, I kind of like these guys just as early plays. Alright, so let's take a look at this. 28 cards. Take that out. Meteorite and Kurd Chieftain. So unfortunately, we did not get back any of the Evolving Wilds. Or maybe we did and I just missed them. I think I don't want to play these because I think I got plenty of playables and I'd rather be more consistent. I like this as a removal spell. I like one of these. I like this card because we're pretty heavy green. And oh, I have Verdant Haven and Meteorite, so I think that's pretty good. And I'll play 1 Mountain. That's 3 sources for the Kurd Chieftain. I like this. I like this. I don't know that Runeclaw Bear is that good, but I might play just 1 Swiftclaw, 1 Runeclaw Bear for the diversity. Titanic Growth's decent. I like Life's Legacy, but it might just be a sideboard card. Because this deck's turning out pretty well. Did I end up getting a Soulmender? No, okay, that's disappointing. And Selfless Cathar as well. Like I would have liked some 1-drops or maybe a Raise the Alarm to go with the Sunblade Elf, but it's still good. It's still quite good. And yeah, I like this curve. You know, this is a Convoke card. These are Convoke cards. I think this is pretty good. Yeah, I don't think that we have to change much. We can definitely consider these for the sideboard. Consider this for the sideboard and this. These guys. I definitely like Plummet Naturalize for the sideboard and maybe Staff against an aggressive deck. I think we've got power. I think we've got a good curve. I think we've got a plan. I think we've got to get a little splash right here. Yeah, I think this looks great. Alright, I will see you guys in the first round.